Good evening. My name is Jeff Erickson, the principal of Minnetonka High School. And while I wish we're all in the same space to have our welcome to the high school evening, we're really excited to have a chance to connect with you tonight and share with you all the opportunities at Minnetonka High School. This is an amazing place, and I always come back to the two reasons that make it amazing: the students that we have and the staff that are committed to each student's success. So tonight, along with Counselor Dave Burley, we're going to walk you through the experience at Minnetonka High School and what it means to be a student here and the options. Tonight is just the first step in the conversation. We're going to have opportunities down the road next week and beyond for the students to get to know the high school and really learn about the theme of this evening, the Minnetonka Experience, the School of Opportunities. So we're going to start, as you're getting comfortable for the evening, hopefully in a comfortable chair, with a brief video, about a minute and a half, that really has students talking about what is it like to be a student here, what are the core values of the school. So I'll have this video, and I'll come back with some more information. Welcome to Minnetonka High School.
Welcome to Minnetonka High School.
Welcome to Minnetonka.
Welcome to Minnetonka High School.
We're so excited for you to be here.
I found my place here.
You'll meet a ton of friends.
I joined activities that I knew I'd be comfortable with, so soccer.
Teachers, classmates, classes, you'll love the classes here. I'm taking digital journalism, which is a course in Vantage.
And that never let me down.
In terms of academics, you can go in basically any day before or after school to talk with a teacher.
If science is your passion, you can try Minnetonka Research and choose an area of research to explore for an entire year.
Minnetonka Online is really an amazing opportunity. Unlike other online options, you are independently learning, but you also, if you have any issues, you reach out to your teacher and you can meet with your teacher the next day.
Freshman year, I didn't really get involved, and I really wish I would have. And it really just helped me find more of my people.
Just this year, I've joined Intercombio.
I've been involved in the band program here at MHS all 4 years.
I'm in yearbook.
I found my place here at Minnetonka by joining as many clubs as I possibly could my freshman year.
You simply don't have enough time to take all the opportunities you're given.
Biggest thing that makes Minnetonka Minnetonka is our overall school spirit.
Everyone here, just if you walk around and say hi, they won't be weirded out. They'll just be like, hey.
Everybody's there to help each other. Everybody's there to pitch in.
Minnetonka really promotes a culture of service here.
I love the teachers here. At Minnetonka, they just care about you so much. And if you need anything, even if it's social life advice, they'll help you.
I think I define a skipper as someone who's really involved in the school, who's involved with clubs and service and activities and just gets out there. But it's also just a nice person who says hi to everybody in the hallways and makes new friends and is open to new ideas.
So you get to see the video there. It always has an exciting conclusion with the science class. It just gives you a sense of the high school and what we're about and all the different things that we have in our core values. So I'm going to, I think for the technical, one moment. All right, great. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. It gives you a chance really to hear from our students about the experience. There are so many opportunities at this high school that your child, and I also want to welcome the students. I hope you're watching tonight along with your family to learn about the high school. There's so many opportunities. A lot of the videos that we have and the one that you just watched have students at the center and their voice talking about Minnetonka High School. So if you go to the website at the high school, the district webpage, there are tons of videos that give you a great flavor of what the high school is about. So tonight, the Minnetonka Experience. So I'm going to talk to you about a little bit about your students. So students, welcome. You're going to have a chance to hear from Mr. Burley in a minute, one of the counselors, and counselors will be visiting with middle school students in the next few days, and they'll have an opportunity next week. So what is at the heart of our work, the reason we exist? Our goal is simple: to have an amazing experience for every single student, and for every student during their 4 years, to find their passion in all the opportunities that we have at our school. So at the center of our work is clearly the student. I'll talk about the culture. We work hard to make sure the culture is positive, that every student feels a connection to the school, gets involved in activities, and finds their way in our high school. Student support. We have a tremendous student support team. First, we have staff. We have teachers that are just committed to every student's success. Then we also have a remarkable counseling team, and you'll hear about that this evening. So we work with a student. We really make sure there's a positive culture in the school. The students feel that connection. We provide the support. And over the 4 years, we ask each student to invest in the academics, arts, athletics, and activities. You will hear over your time in preparation for the high school, you hear many times that the key to getting connected And really building that sense of belonging comes from activities. So there are so many clubs, you got a sense of that in the videos. And the great thing about the school is that if we don't have the club, students can create it, and that happens every single year. So much of the positive culture and climate comes from students and their leadership and their commitment to making the school stronger. So this is really gives you a glimpse of the total experience of the school, students at the center, and every single person in this building committed to your students' success. Students, your voice matters, and we look forward to getting to know you. The three parts of that experience that I really want to talk about for a moment, and you'll hear this as we communicate over the months ahead, is first is really focusing on our community. We recognize that if you don't feel a strong sense of community, strong sense of connection with your teachers, learning won't happen at the same rate. So we focus on a caring, relationships-based community where all students feel connected and feel a real strong sense of belonging to the staff and to each other in the building. At the core of this school is respect, and that's how we work together. The second piece is really the learning that happens. That as we work to make sure students feel engaged, that happens within the lessons, the activities in the classroom. So we focus on authentic learning, experiential learning, and opportunities that go beyond the community in the work that we do. Many students over their time will have a chance to work with a mentor, will have a chance to work on a project for an outside organization. All of this to help students find their passion and truly be engaged in the work that they're doing. So that really requires us to make sure that we have meaningful, innovative, and effective classroom experiences to help students go deeper in their learning. And really with the learning that happens here, that idea of passion is over the 4 years, how will we broaden students' horizons? How will we help challenge students to find their passion, to try something new, and to really push themselves with the support around them. So belonging, engagement, and really helping students find our passion summarizes the work that we do every single day in making sure for each student that you feel connected and find success. That culture, that work starts this spring. We have an opportunity, and hopefully with COVID, we're able to bring incoming ninth graders on campus. Last year we did a virtual event, but we're hopeful that this spring they'll allow students to come on campus. As I talk about being a relationships-based community, you can certainly go online, find our handbook. It takes us 90+ pages to explain our 2 core values as a school. One is to do the right thing, and the second is to represent us well. All, as you look at the screen, on a foundation of respect. We have students to respect themselves, others, and the highest form of respect is standing up for respect. So we intentionally take steps along the way throughout the 9th grade year, throughout that transition to the 9th grade year, and really beyond to continually come back to our core values. If you would like some entertainment and a glimpse of high school life, every week we produce a video called Beyond 140. So if you YouTube Beyond 140 Minnetonka, every week we try to come back to these core values. We hope in an entertaining way, certainly informative, about how we operate as a high school and how we work together. Every month we showcase a senior, and the #1 attribute every single time for the students that we honor, kindness. So we work to focus on these areas, come back to our core values, and ask each student to stand up for respect, to do the right thing, and certainly represent themselves and the school well. So academics. Tonight, our focus is on the academics part of the wheel. There'll be opportunities to come back to learn about activities and other pieces, but tonight we want to give a sense about academics. The good news about tonight is, in the end, there are a few decisions that each 9th grader needs to make, but tonight we want to give a flavor of all the opportunities that exist within the high school. So as we try to help students find their passion, we increase each of those opportunities. Every year, there are new opportunities for students. So I can't tell you what's going to happen when the class of 2025 is in their senior year, what opportunities will exist then, because every year we continue to add. So the School of Opportunities, we want students to find their passion. On the screen tonight, you'll see a series of icons that reflect those opportunities for students, and it continues to grow, and we'll highlight this evening some of those opportunities, and then next week there'll be an opportunity to go deeper in each of these areas to really figure out what that idea might be in terms of what you're looking for and learning about the school. We hope the question on the screen is, what is your passion? Sometimes you might find out over the 4 years what your passion is not, and that's great. You'll figure it out here, and you certainly will find what your passion is, and we provide opportunities for you to go deeper in each of those areas. You look at on the screen, we have a student who's part of our new home renovation physics class called in the Momentum program, working on a project for Habitat for Humanity. You can tell by the mask this happened this fall. On the right is part of our robotics program, an opportunity for activities where students really find their passion. There are many, many other ways in clubs, classes, and activities they can find their passion. We hope that happens during this time. We work intentionally to support students in that endeavor. So tonight, you're going to talk about setting your course. The good news is no decisions will be made this evening. You have plenty of time to figure things out. And even over your 4 years, any of the planning that we do is in pencil. Things change, opportunities come along the line that students didn't know about or didn't think about or all of a sudden changed their mind. That course that you set is just the first draft, and I'm confident over the 4 years that draft will continue to evolve. So, if we fast forward to the 2025, the graduation, what are those goals? What are the things you want to think about? So there are a lot of opportunities at this school, and some of the opportunities are in 9th grade, and they increase every single year. So the conversation is, what are the goals? What are you hoping for as you think about the different programs? And there are opportunities in some of these items on the screen, some of these programs, that you can do as a 9th grader. So having that conversation, there are many paths along the way. Your child's counselor and students you will meet, your counselors this week, are a critical resource in that planning and helping collaboratively come up with the goals. I would really want to point out, as you think about courses for next year, there is no wrong decision. And every decision has to be right for the student about what they want to do. So students, you might be talking about your friends saying, hey, I think I'm going to do this, you should do this too. I really encourage you to make your own decision, to be comfortable with that decision, and not to worry about what other people are doing. It's your path, it's what you want to do. So, this evening, I'm going to turn it over to Counselor Dave Beerley, who's going to share some information. We're going to kind of come back and forth and talk about the opportunities for the high school. So with that, I'm going to leave it, I'm going to step off and welcome Dave Beerley.
Hello, I'm Dave Beerley. I'm one of the counselors, and I'm going to walk you through some of the details for selecting courses in the coming days. So tomorrow, we are meeting with students at MME and at MMW virtually. All that information, their counselors wanted me to make sure that I reminded students and parents, all the information is on their Schoology page, the Class of 2025 Schoology page. And so we'll really get into the details of what decisions are you making, and you know what opportunities lay ahead. We're going to talk about required coursework and elective coursework. I'm happy to report even the required coursework gives you a lot of options. There's not a single class at our school that we said everybody has to do that. That's not how it works. So you have options within every area. So some pretty basic things to make sure of. And I always think it's good to just kind of come back to what are we actually deciding here. So every student at the school, or every incoming 9th grade, I should say, is going to be choosing 4 core classes. Everybody's going to choose English, everybody's going to choose math, everybody's going to choose science, and everybody's going to choose social studies. On the screen here, you see it lists world language and music, which is a pretty common 2 electives to be chosen, world language and music. So everybody's doing English, math, science, and social studies. The vast majority of our students, my guess is probably 90% or so, are continuing with the world language or starting a world language. And then if you're doing music, then that's the 6 periods of the day right there taken care of. So then the next part of the discussion is to say, okay, well, what about those courses? What am I making decisions on within those courses? So you'll notice some kind of icons popping up here within social studies. If you're in our immersion program, you can weave immersion classes into your social studies. So in other words, you're meeting your social studies requirement at the same time you're doing an immersion class, which many of you I know have done in middle school. So we'll get into that detail as we go here. And in the end, the total number of credits that you need to graduate, you need 4 years of English, you need 3 years of math, you need 3 years of science, and you need 3.5 years of social studies. And so when you hear me say 3 years, a year and a credit they equal each other. So 1 semester is 0.5 of a course. So if you do 1 year of geometry, it's 0.5 of geometry plus 0.5 of geometry. When it's all said and done, at the end, you need to be at 22.5 credits. So if you just do the quick math in your head, if you're taking 6 classes a year times 4, that equals 24. Most of our students end up with more than 22.5 credits, but 22.5 credits is kind of the bare minimum. And so that just kind of is a nice visual to see how much you need. It is also worth noting, if some students are at home thinking, sweet, I only have 3 years of math or science left, Probably not. Most of our students, I'd say probably over 90%, continue with math and science as a senior. And they obviously all continue with English and social studies. That's part of the graduation requirements. So world language, kind of added on here, not a required course to graduate per se, but the vast majority of four-year institutions at the college level require you to take at least 2 years of a world language. So it is a part of most of our students' coursework, because around 90% of our students do end up choosing to go on to a 2-year or 4-year college. So world language is usually a part of everybody's course plan. This is probably my, maybe this is embarrassing, this is my favorite slide, but it's nice because it shows you the options within each course. The only one that doesn't really list options is math. And really the reason for that is there's just too many options in math, because it's all dependent on where you are kind of in the math journey. So as we work our way down, everybody's making a decision on English. You're either going to take English 9 or you're going to take English 9 honors. If you're in the accelerated science track and you're going to be taking AP Physics next year, that is actually paired with English 9 honors communication. So then you don't really even have to worry about the English choice, because that's already made for you. But most of our students are choosing between English 9 and English 9 honors. You're going to follow your math sequence, that you're going to have a conversation with your math teacher in the coming weeks, and they're going to recommend which course to continue with. Science, basically 2 courses, Integrated Physical Science G or Integrated Physical Science Honors. Again, if you are on that accelerated science track and taking AP Physics in 9th grade, you know who you are, and then that decision is kind of already been made. Social studies, we have a couple of options here. Human geography and civics, it's a semester of human geography, a semester of civics is the first option. You can do that same exact course either in Chinese or in Spanish as part of the Immersion program. Same exact course, just done in Spanish or done in Mandarin. And then the last option is doing AP Human Geography. AP Human Geography is, we're going to get into some details about AP coursework and what that means and what that entails. But I'd say for now, think of that as being an accelerated level social studies course that's a great option for students who are interested in social studies, who excel in social studies. One of the things that I really think is important to mention is the transition from 8th to 9th grade is not that much different than transitioning from 6th to 7th or 7th to 8th or 9th to 10th or anything else. Every year we consistently find that our students who come from the middle school to the high school, they do really well. We just finished meeting individually with all of our 9th graders for 9th grade meetings. They are doing phenomenal. The adjustment has gone smoothly. Students who, I just learned a fun fact about students taking English 9 honors. 85% of the kids who took a regular English 8 class in 8th grade and got an A and said, hey, I'm pretty good at English. I know I haven't done honors yet, but I'm ready for it. They went on to English 9 honors. 85% of those students end up earning an A, according to, we just kind of ran the numbers on that recently. So lots of opportunities. The last one on there is world language. We have a couple of options. American Sign Language, Immersion Chinese is an option, and then French, German, and Spanish are options too. And obviously you're aware of the Immersion program. Some other required coursework that we're going to add in here that we just wanted to mention. All students need a year of art. So we talked about a year of art would mean 0.5 plus 0.5. So 2 semesters of art and then 2 semesters of physical education. So our physical education courses are divided into an A and a B, and we'll have more on that later. Health is the one graduation requirement you do not have to worry about at registration time. It's embedded into our schedule. So when students start next year, it will show up in their schedule as a 0-hour course. It won't actually happen 0 hour. It'll just happen during their English, science, and social studies courses. So you don't have to worry about registering for that right now. The sailboats you see on the screen just denote courses that are available via Tonka Online. Probably the most popular course for Tonka Online for 9th graders is doing a PE class over the summer. We have 300-400 students do that every summer. They figure they're going to be active anyway, and it's nice to take care of one of those requirements to open up a spot to do something else that they might prefer to take during the school year. This slide is really helpful. This is just one example of trying to start to make people understand, help people understand our philosophy in helping you select courses at the high school and how that's different from the middle school. So I have a student at the middle school, and I realize it's very formulaic, that you have to score a certain score on a test to get into an honors course or an advanced course or whatever. It is not like that at the high school at all, and that's what this slide is looking to communicate. In ninth grade, if you take English 9 honors, or English 9 honors communication, any of the options in 10th grade are open to you. So all of these classes can lead to all of those classes below. So there's no situation where we'd say, sorry, you only took English 9, you can't take an honors class or an AP class. That does not happen at the high school. And that's different than the kind of the philosophy at middle school. So I just think it's important to remember that. And a lot of the reason why we spend so much time on registration is because you do have these decisions to make, and we want to empower you with making informed decisions, but we're not going to tell you what it has to be. So it's different, and I think it makes sense given developmentally where kids are at in high school. So I really am happy that we do things like that. Just a little bit more detail on the arts. So you'll notice it shows 0.5 and 0.5. This does not have to be done in ninth grade. A lot of students do tend to figure it makes more sense to get it done in 9th and 10th grade, but we have a couple of different departments listed up here, so it's important to know, obviously art classes meet the art requirement, but we also have classes in family and consumer science. We have classes within theater, which is actually housed in the English department. Any of our music classes meet the art requirement, so if you do a year of choir as a 9th grader or orchestra or band, you've met the art requirement. And then there's several tech ed classes that meet the art requirement, airbrush, some other courses like that. Airbrush, there's an engineering design course that can meet some of the art requirement too. So, and so the sailboats, again, denote courses available as Tonka Online. Taking an art class over the summer is a popular Tonka Online option also. As we move ahead, physical education. So you'll notice that bullet point there, there's a fitness A and a wellness B. I will, and I think most of the counselors do this now, we found it's actually pretty effective. We will tomorrow have 8th graders hold up their right hand and take a vow that they understand that you need a part A and a part B PE. Kind of a little bit of a joke, but actually I found that the kids actually don't forget then when we do that. So it all adds up to 1 credit, but we want students to have at least one course in the fitness area and at least one in the wellness area. So the curriculum's slightly different in those 2 areas, and then if you've done an A and you've done a B, you've met the requirement. The physical education courses are all offered online, and again, over the summer, that's a pretty popular option for our students. Like I said, health is embedded, so not anything that you have to worry about now, just know that that will be something that's in your schedule, but you don't have to find any way to fit that in at this point. All right, as we move forward here, lots of information on electives, and it's important to know that the electives, they will list, if you look at the graduation requirements closely, it'll list a certain number of electives that you need. I wouldn't get too caught up in that. As long as you're filling out your courses each year, you will automatically meet the electives requirement. In other words, we don't have students that end up at graduation and they're short on an elective credit. That's not how it works. And one of the things that I really am proud of that we do at Minnetonka is every year, at this time of year, we get together with every grade level and we talk about all of your options. And a lot of those discussions are around electives. So there's some schools that get really wrapped up in doing a 4-year plan. Mr. Erickson referenced this earlier. You can do a 4-year plan, but we want you to have that plan in pencil, because an example this year is we just added a new Vantage strand in public policy. So if we have somebody who's a rising senior who made a 4-year plan 4 years ago and public policy is their passion, it couldn't have been on their 4-year plan because it didn't exist at that time. So lots of new elective options each year, and so like I said, we'll revisit them in registration seminars and go over a lot of those details. This slide just wants to, just trying to reiterate to you that electives can be in required core academic areas. In other words, if you take anatomy in science, that's an elective. It just happens to be in the science area. So all of these different departments listed are all areas that you can find elective courses. And for the most part, I think just to simplify, for a 9th grader, you're really filling 2 lines in your schedule with electives. Usually one is a world language, and then the second one, you're filling 2 semesters, can be any of these different courses that we have listed up here. So I'm going to pass it back over to Mr. Erickson to talk more about some of the opportunities at Minnetonka High School. And I will be back.
All right. So we're now at the halfway point. We'll keep things moving with our slide here. A lot of different graphics on here talking about the School of Opportunities. And really, I just want to reiterate what Dave mentioned in terms of the paths at the high school. There really are no prerequisites for any of the opportunities. Students will find their passion over the 4 years. We encourage students to find their passion, to challenge themselves, and know that there's tremendous support behind their decisions and the classes that they choose. So this is just, in one slide, all the different things that we have going on within the high school. So I would just caution that sometimes when we get to this part of the presentations, that there's a significant amount of information about different programs. And so Dave really walked through what are the key things you need to know for ninth grade. So we're going to talk about some of the programs that are available for your student, and we'll quickly go through those topics, knowing there'll be many opportunities to go deeper in each of those areas. Tonka Online is our own online program that is different than what we're going through now with e-learning. This is a totally asynchronous experience. We have probably 40 plus courses that are online, offer all the grades. Last summer, for example, we had 1,000 students taking online classes, and allows them to maybe get a step ahead in an area that they want to do, or to take their PE, or take an art class, or all different options we have on online. They are taught by our teachers. They're fully accredited. They're flexible. They allow students to work at their own pace, and allows the students to challenge themselves and access AP courses. And we really find the performance, for example, in AP, of students taking an online AP class to be the same level of performance on the external assessment as our in-person opportunities. So for some students, it's a great fit to make it work. There's some events coming up to learn more about online. Momentum. This is our newest program that we just started this year with our physics and home renovation class. It's a 2-hour class that students can take. These are very hands-on experiential learning, labs, not lecture, and allowing for creativity, and really encouraging students to look at these opportunities. And just, you can see on the screen here, the pathways and the trades. We've got construction, small engines, automotive. I'm just thrilled to announce that the school board approved in January. So if you're wondering where we're in the port, which of course every place in this building has a nautical term. This is also known in the olden days as a library. But behind me, if you could see, it would be the Peggle and the football stadium. So just a little bit down this road, we'll be building a facility starting this spring to have our own automotive class that will be offering the spring of next year, as well as space for our new Momentum strand. So it really is our ongoing commitment, the district's ongoing commitment, to making sure we have the space and opportunities for students. So that's something new and exciting: engineering, manufacturing, architecture, graphics. So we want to help students find their passion. We've had some great trades panels to talk about the opportunities. You'll be able to look through these slides. We'll be sending these out, but just gives you some of the pathways and courses that they can take, from woodworking to home renovation that I talked about. Metal sculpture is a new course that we offered this year. So lots of opportunities in the Momentum program. Project Lead the Way is another opportunity, pre-engineering architectural design pathway. Students can earn college credit through this experience. So an awesome opportunity in the area of architecture and design. Really popular class for students. And I bring Dave back to talk a little bit about Immersion, and then I'll have a few more comments about other programs at MHS.
So just a couple of things to talk about with Immersion. One of the things I think is important to be reminded of is that Immersion doesn't take up any more room. It's not any more of a time commitment or anything. It's just a different way that you've been doing things. And a lot of you, I laugh because a couple years ago when the Immersion students first came to the high school, however many, I think that was maybe 4 years ago, the students kind of taught us that, and then we have really started to realize that it's really not that complicated. You're doing a higher level of language within your world language, which most students are doing a world language anyway, so it's just done at a higher level for the Immersion kids. And then within your social studies course in 9th grade, you have the option to be able to do that social studies course in your target language. So you don't need to find an extra space in your schedule or anything else. You just have different options to be able to do within the Immersion program. So on the screen here, you'll see that there are some different pathways depending if you're starting off in AP Spanish Language and Culture or if you're starting off in Spanish Immersion Language Arts. And that's something I'd really encourage you to work closely with your teachers on about which course is correct. Either way, whether you start off in the AP class or start off in the language arts course, you're going to move through the immersion curriculum, and you're going to have a great experience, and you're going to be very, very well positioned in terms of having really rigorous coursework on your transcript. But if you're not quite ready for that AP Spanish class, I would encourage you to listen to take your teacher's advice and take that route. And then again, I don't think you need to spend a lot of time looking at what happens down the road, but suffice it to say, we have a path for you, and we will continue to revisit that path every winter as we're going through registration. Similar options for Chinese immersion, and the path is pretty similar. The nice thing is we've grown and there's more and more students doing immersion. We have more and more elective options, and so you'll see some of those elective options working in. And so for students coming in ninth grade next year, those should definitely be available down the road, and there's some pretty cool things in terms of film and culture and politics and different things like that they'll have as an option. All right, and advanced placement. I did mention that AP Human Geography is an option for ninth graders as their social studies class. Also, some of you will be taking AP Physics. And so just a little bit about advanced placement. Advanced placement is it's run by the College Board is the organization. It's the same company that makes the SATs. And they are courses that mimic a introductory level freshman in college level course. And you go through a high-level curriculum during the year, and then at the end you take an AP exam, and you could potentially earn college credit. AP Human Geography, the most common AP course for our ninth graders to take, is a really well-positioned class for ninth graders because it is normally a one-semester class for juniors and seniors, but we have taken it because it's for ninth graders and said it's one semester for 11th and 12th graders. We're going to spread it out over 2 semesters and make it very manageable. And because we've made it manageable, and I think students are doing a good job preparing for it, we have 85 to 90% of our students earning potential college credit. Usually a 3 or higher is kind of the criteria for getting college credit in advanced placement class. And so that's what AP Human Geography is like. Obviously, AP Spanish Language and Culture would be the same thing in terms of that end of the year exam and AP Physics. So that's what that AP designation means. It's potential college credit, and it's something that you'll see as we kind of work through the slides that our students are having a lot of success doing. So the International Baccalaureate program, very similar to AP in terms of its rigor, slightly different style. I would say that an AP class moves through information quickly and covers a lot of ground, whereas an IB class goes deeper into a subject. So students will say like, well, is one better or worse or easier or harder? Not really. They're just a different approach to doing high-level coursework. And so we have IB courses available also. We're an IB school. You could graduate with a full IB diploma. The IB program, one thing that's a little different is it's really not an option for students in ninth grade. It's not an option at all, actually. So that's something to be thinking about as each year goes by. And again, we'll lay out those options as each year comes and tell you which options you'd have for IB coursework going forward. And there's even some coursework in 10th grade that we kind of have geared towards being pre-IB to see if you would think that that would be a good fit for you in 11th grade. So more to come on that in the future. I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Erickson to talk a little bit about AP and IB scores, and I think I'll be back.
You will. So just a couple things we really encourage students over their time to choose at least one AP or IB course before they graduate. We have a great number of students that take advantage of these opportunities. Again, there are no prerequisites. There's tremendous support for each student being successful. And we have a high pass rate of students who are able to take the exam and to earn a 3 or 4, depending if it's AP or IB. So we have a lot of conversation with students about thinking about their options and figuring out what's the right fit for each student. And really, there's no one answer. As I've said before, it's really what's right for the student in a conversation with the family, with the student, with the counselor, about what makes sense. And every student has a different expectation, goal, and that's awesome. We want to make sure students really figure out what's right for them and their passion. So as we look at the academics, a few of the things I'd mentioned tonight, on the second floor of the building, we have our own research space, Minnetonka Research. It is for students who have a passion for research and have already completed AP or IB. And it's not just science. There are all kinds of areas in the humanities and other places where students do their own research. They come up with their own question and do all that work. It is an amazing experience what students are able to do in this particular area. And the space is such where students have their own bench, their own workbench to do their work because their labs just don't start and end at the beginning of a period. I can't tell you the number of different things we have coming through the high school, FISH, other plans, all different projects that students are working on. And at the end, they have their own poster board session to explain what they've done in their research. And they're doing college-level research, and it's a place where students truly find their passion. Awesome group of teachers that help with that. Another program we have is Vantage. And Vantage is in its 8th year, and we're adding a new strand for next year. And Vantage is a class, and I'll just choose, for example, Global Business as a class. They have an IB. Part of that Global Business strand is that they have IB Business, AP Econ, and AP Seminar English. So it's 3 classes. It's taught within 3 hours, but it's done in an interdisciplinary way. We also have digital journalism. You'll see all the different strands, all in different areas, but all these strands are 2 to 3 hours. Most of them are off campus, and they have guest instructors. So if they're learning about a particular topic, for example, in digital journalism, and some technique with video, they're going to have an expert in the field come in and share that expertise, and students will learn from that person. I've seen projects with one of the strands that presented to the executive branch of Best Buy and the CEO with their project. So really opportunities to engage for students who work collaboratively with an outside audience. Part of this model, again, it's 2 to 3 hours, the classes, guest instruction. We have an amazing group of teachers, mentors. Each student has their own mentor. Projects, these are actual projects that businesses want us to do. There are other organizations in the healthcare that we have involved, so it's not just business, there's all different areas. Site visits, some of the places students get to go to learn firsthand is pretty cool. So this model has all of these different strands you'll see on the screen. Health science, global sustainability, design and marketing, user experience. User experience is AP computer science and a user design art class, digital journalism, business analytics, global business, and a brand new strand, which is public policy. So all of these opportunities are for students who are in their 10th and 11th and 12th grade year. And it really allows them to go deep in an area and find their passion and have a different experience just because how the class is constructed and the opportunities that they have. And I just see tremendous engagement in this program. We talk often about the soft skills, teamwork, leadership, professionalism, problem solving, effective communication. While they might be considered soft skills, they're incredibly important to students' development and to really do work that is similar to any internship they would have during college or beyond. So Vantage, there's some seminars coming up about Vantage. Our counseling, Dave's going to come back to close his part, then I'll come back for a few final comments to focus on the whole student, and then I'll have a few final words for the evening.
And so just a little bit about, well, we moved past that slide with, it has arts activities and athletics and academics. And the thing I say to 9th graders all the time, like I'd mentioned, we just wrapped up meeting with all of our 9th graders individually. They were done for the most part virtually this year, but we really encourage students to get involved. I tell students all the time, I've never ever met a senior who looks back and wishes they were less involved. That's never happened, and I don't think it ever will happen. So just that graphic really does kind of speak to that. This is just to remind you of the counseling staff. Tomorrow, when we're meeting with students from MME and MMW, we will be in our Google Meet rooms, and like I said, that's posted on Schoology, and it's all based on your last name. So you can see the breakdowns there, and then I think Ms. Stashik and Ms. Urbish have put those breakdowns out for students to see just in case. And so the counselors, all 10 counselors are listed on here, and then the last 2 people listed, Laura Herbst is our advanced learning coordinator. So she's a licensed school counselor who is also kind of in charge of our AP and IB programs. So a lot of times our students who are involved in a lot of that advanced level stuff always work with their counselor, but then also have additional kind of contact person in the counseling office. And then Mr. Trout is our college counselor. He's been working in college admissions for a long, long time and is a huge asset to our school and really helps students kind of map out things in post-secondary planning. So that's us. We will get to meet all of your students tomorrow. It's exciting. I admittedly do wish we were doing it in person, but it is what it is. So we will be meeting on the Google Meet tomorrow, and I think we'll have great information for them. And we're going to actually record the Google Meet so that it can be sent out later if anything is missed. This is something that we have been for the last couple of years kind of showing to people, because I think it happens a lot where people will just say, well, I don't know, well, I'll answer the phone and people say, I don't know if you're the right person to call to ask this. 9 times out of 10, it is the right person to call by calling your counselor. So this little graphic just kind of talks through things. A starting point for support. So there's often times where we're working and helping a student who's struggling with some things, and we might come to determine the level of care they need is probably beyond what's realistic within the school counseling office. And so we'll work with their parents to set up something outside within the community at a counseling center or whatever it might be. More than anything, the very top one, just we're a trusted adult. That's kind of what it all comes down to, is we just want all of our students. I always use the phrase, I just want my students to know that I'm an adult in the building that has their back no matter what. And so I think that just speaks to being a trusted adult, just somebody they can come and talk to, their confidential conversations, and just somebody that you can come and get support from. So social, emotional support, hopefully that's obvious as a counselor. A lot of times connecting to resources. I mentioned maybe connecting to a counseling office outside. It could be something of that nature, or it could just be I'm looking for information on a math tutor or how to take an ACT prep course. It could be things like that, connecting to resources. Academic planning is a big part of what we're doing at this time of year. I think there's kind of a season in our worlds, and the winter as we're doing registration is a lot of academic planning. The college and career planning, we're doing a lot of that in the fall. Every fall during first quarter, we meet with every single one of our seniors doing individual meetings, and that's where a lot of college and career planning happens also. So we really, in the end, we really get to know our students well, and I think it's something I'm really proud of, the way our counseling program works, that we have kids that graduate and they know their counselor and we know them. So I appreciate the way the program works, and this kind of speaks to what that all looks like. This is a handout that you've all gotten that should have been mailed home, and you should have all received that. Some great information in there, just kind of to welcome you, and on the back there's information about all the different courses that are available to 9th graders, just to try to kind of simplify things. I'd really encourage you to use the Skipper Log online. It has some sorting features that make it really nice, where if you look at every single science class offered, that can be overwhelming, but if you sort it based on 9th grade science classes, you'll see that it becomes very manageable very quickly. So keep an eye out for that. And so this is kind of what the course catalog looks like on the Minnetonka Schools website. All sorts of different information on there, and very user-friendly. So I encourage you to get on there and use that. And definitely students will say, this I guess won't get to happen tomorrow because we're not going to be at the middle school, but I'm sure students will ask us tomorrow. They'll say like, hey, I want to take this class. What's it about? And we're happy to tell them, but that's what the Skipper Log is there for, is you can read a description of any course that's out there. So if you read the description and it sounds awesome, great, that could be an opportunity. If you read it and it doesn't sound interesting, well, it's good that you had that information and you can read through a lot of those options. So, and this starts to point out different ways. There's a registration planning worksheet that you can click on that we'd really encourage students to do. I think there'll be a link to it on Schoology where it lays out you need an English class and a science class and a math class, and it makes sure that you're not missing anything along the way. And then this gives you some different printable course lists if you wanted to go that route. And this is just a kind of a screenshot from the art department. I'm going to pass it back over to Mr. Erickson. Probably will want to mention more about Experience Minnetonka is coming up next Thursday night. It will be awesome, so we'll see some of you there, and then we'll see all the 8th graders tomorrow. We're looking forward to it. Have a good one.
All right, so Experience Minnetonka is coming up next Thursday night, February 11th. It is virtual, and so we're pretty excited about the opportunity, however, is that from 5:30 to 8 o'clock, and you'll be receiving an email from me on Tuesday with the link to the website, and so you will see a grid of all of the opportunities and programs that I've talked about tonight. and you'll know, for example, at 5:30 you could go to a session on 9th grade English options, and there'll be a live Google Meet presentation from several of the English teachers to talk about those options in 9th grade. If you want to learn more about Vantage, there'll be a session about that. If you've got other students at the high school in grades, incoming grades 10 through 12, this event is for you as well. So really going to be promoting this. From your chair, you can get the entire school over an hour or two, or depending how much time you have, to really learn about the options. As well, there are tons of videos. This Sunday, we'll be sending out an email with just more of those resources to learn about all the opportunities. So look for more information next Thursday. A simple way to come in virtually and connect and learn what's going on in the high school. So all of this leads, and this is really registration season, all of this leads toward February 26th through March 8th. And this is the time in which your student, you will go into Skyward and you will register for your classes for next year. Now, every once in a while somebody will say, well, February 26th, so does that mean I need to stay up until 12:01 a.m. to click to make sure I get into that 9th grade whatever course? And if I don't, I'm out of luck. No, you can do that if you like that, but you don't need to. You could wait till 11:59 on March 8th and live on the edge and do it at that time. It doesn't matter. We build the schedule every year from ground zero. So if a certain number of students request a course, we staff it that way. So don't worry about that. We really want to have a chance for you to ask questions. If you notice that this coincides, that March 8th, after parent-teacher conferences, so it's a good opportunity to talk with your teachers, students, to say what might be the right option. I really encourage you to think about all the opportunities we have here, figure out what's going to be your passion and your opportunity. But that's how registration will happen. And then after that point, we take all that information and build a master schedule for next year. And then students will see their actual schedule with teachers later in the summer. A couple of transition things I would just point out is that we are still hoping that COVID's in a spot where in late May we have the 9th graders, incoming 9th graders from all, no matter what school they're from, to come on campus to visit the high school to meet their first mate, who is going to be someone who will be working with the students occasionally during the summer and then on the retreat on September 1st. So that is a great opportunity. We did the retreat this year. We had a virtual option, but we also did it in person. So students were actually on the football field. We were able to do it all outside safely. So we're confident that we'll have an opportunity for students to come on campus and to see and to work with their first mate. So there's one date next summer, if you're thinking way down the road, that we want students on campus, and that is September 1st. If you cannot wait to learn about what's happening in the high school every day, I use Instagram as a major communication tool at Tonka HS Principal, and we post what's happening, student honors, clubs, activities, our videos, and if you're wanting to find out what life is like here and how do we communicate and how do we showcase the amazing things that happen, it's all on Instagram. So the photo I have here is a close. Now obviously if you're looking at this photo, this is not something we took today. This is from last year. You can look by the lack of masks and no social distancing. This is from last year. But the Commons is the hub of the school and all kinds of things in conversation with students. And this is really an amazing place. As I started at the beginning saying, it's all about the students that we have and the staff. This is my 8th year as principal. I taught in the high school for 14 years as a Spanish teacher, but an assistant principal for 5 years. And I'm proud of what happens every single day. I'm proud our students step up and lead, how they ask good questions, they work, they help support each other, they're kind, they're caring, and they work really hard academically to do their best every single day. And so we're here to support them in their work. So students, I really can't wait to see you in person, hopefully this spring, so that we can welcome you on campus and start building our community. So it doesn't matter what school, middle school you're coming from, when you come to the high school, we are all part of one community. And as a staff, our entire staff is committed to your student success. Students, we're committed to making sure you have an amazing 4 years. So tonight was a great chance to welcome you and to take a chance to look at all the options we have here and know that you've got plenty of time to make the decisions and we're here to support you. So I could not be proud of this school, the opportunities we have, and 9th graders, incoming 9th graders, I can't wait to meet you. Thanks for being part of this evening, and we will see you soon.